This video deals with discrimination at work, and the context of this video is should you negotiate or should you go to a tribunal? Discrimination is, in the main, rarely blatant. It's often masked in banter or in cliques, in body language, and sometimes in policies and procedures too. Discrimination at work can happen right from the way from applying for a particular job all the way to the end of the relationship between the employer and the employee. Discrimination is one of the main things that I deal with here at Magara Law as an employment lawyer, and some common protected characteristics under the Equality Act are things like religion, race, sex, whether you're married, for example, or whether you're pregnant or on maternity leave. There are others, but those are some of the main characteristics, or heads as it were, for discrimination. Types of discrimination is something else that needs to be considered. One of those, I think, is something called direct discrimination. So that's where someone says, for example, you insert derogatory term here for one of those protected characteristics. Another one is indirect discrimination, and typically that's where an employer has, in brief, some kind of policy or procedure that goes against you but is not justifiable. And the other one is harassment based on a protected characteristic, and the other is victimization, so where you're being victimized because you've assisted or you've raised something in light of a protected characteristic or discrimination issue. Again, these can be highly technical, so it's really important that you get some legal advice in terms of whether actually this sort of thing that you might have a grievance for is actually discrimination with respect to the legislation. That isn't to say that your grievance is not important or severe enough to be dealt with, it just may not be discrimination with respect to the legislation. And that is particularly key when it comes to things like disability discrimination too. So in any event, what you do with respect to negotiating or going to an employment tribunal will be largely determined by your end goal. So that is whether you want to leave or whether you want to stay, but you just really need this particular issue dealt with once and for all and you can get on with your job. Or whether actually you want to leave and you want to get some compensation in light of what you've been through. Because frankly, it's not worth you suffering any kind of detriment in the place where you spend most of your time. Everyone should be treated with respect and fairly, and that's certainly where employment law comes in to assist you in the workplace. So these are some of the things that you might want to think about with respect to whether you bring a claim or not for discrimination or whether you negotiate. Please look at my video on how to raise a grievance if negotiating is something that you might want to do, or raising a grievance through your employer but may not want to get anywhere near a tribunal yet. But even if you do, it's important to have a look at that video because there are some things that you will want to consider when bringing a grievance and indeed going to an employment tribunal too. With respect to discrimination, you need to ensure that you do bring a claim within 3 months minus a day from the date of the last act. I appreciate with things like discrimination, these things may happen over a period of time, and there sometimes is an argument to be had for if something may have been going on for 6 months, say, but you have really decided that, you know what, this is the straw that's broken the camel's back and I actually want to bring a claim now. You may be able to group everything in from that 6 months to the present day. But again, it's worth having a discussion about that with an employment solicitor, and this is something which I am more than happy to help you with when discussing the merit, reasonable prospects and reasonable scope of settlement that you ought to be considering too. My details are on screen, my website details are also there and also in the description below. You're welcome to get in touch and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.